Good morning. It's lovely to be here today to share information with you all about our service, what we do, and to share our reflections and observations of practice in supporting individuals with disabilities. First of all, my name's Annie, so I have got my Sunday name up there, Anne-Marie, but I am known as Annie. A little bit about our service, so I'll go on to the next slide. So we're a specialist rehabilitation team supporting individuals who have a physical disability and are living with a long-term condition. These are conditions like, sorry, I've went too ahead a slide, sorry. So see, when they talk about nerves, it's very real. And also when you're a 50-year-old woman living with menopause and the brain fog is really real. Okay, so I'll go back. So we're part of Edinburgh Community Rehabilitation and Support Services. We support individuals who have a physical disability and are living with a long-term condition. And these conditions are things like stroke, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, motor neuron disease, Huntington's disease, and traumatic brain injury. We have a bank of staff that work within that service, so we have our senior occupational therapist and our operational manager who oversee all of us. So that consists of our occupational therapy team, our physiotherapy team, senior support workers, and a bank of care and support workers who deliver those rehabilitation interventions alongside the therapist that's assigned to the individual. We work within the three conversations approach, which is a model that Edinburgh Health and Social Care Partnership adopted a few years ago, and our team has very much been embedded in it from the beginning. That is a strengths-based approach to providing services that work collaboratively with people seeking support, and which also includes any relevant other individuals that's working alongside them and their carers. There's 3 steps to that approach, which include the first conversation, which is connecting and understanding the individual and building rapport and learn about the person's situation. We then look at conversation 2, which is crisis support, and addressing any immediate needs for those in crisis and sticking to them like glue so we can try to support those needs. And then finally, there's long-term plan. So we discuss the kind of ongoing support based on the person's goals for a good life. It's a very person-driven outcomes. People decide what successes look like for them. We focus on their strengths. We help people achieve their goals by building on their existing abilities and resources. We work together with the individuals and the other services, providing collaboration to find solutions. We also have faster interventions. We take away the kind of skippy, lengthy assessments and focus more on conversations. We also link in with the other partners that I mentioned, and that could be speech and language therapy, neuropsychology, Sight Scotland, Visibility Scotland, Deaf Action, to meet the full needs holistically of the individual. So we'll go on to the kind of wider technology team. So within our services, there is a range of services, as you heard me say in the last slide, but the technology team is a specialist team that provide individualised support to individuals looking to access their technology and support independence and participation through the use of technology. We have 2 of our neuro OTs, so Kate and Lara, myself and my colleague Darius, who are part of that small team. Kate and Lara, they can support with the important assessments, looking at loss of function, vision, cognition, and looking at the individual's occupations, areas of leisure, self-care and productivity, and how their level of impairment affects their function. Darius and myself, we implement the technology that has been identified as meeting their needs. We will support the individual with the skill building, using the tech to compensate for that loss of function, and we will expand on that as I go. So really, let's get to the nitty-gritty and talk about our smart home, which is what I'm here for today. So we work together with the Edinburgh-based charity Blackwood to provide this inclusive living space. So the Blackwood House, it's a model home within our centre at Longstone, and it's essentially a 2-bedroom property that is a reimagined living space to make it more accessible for individuals living with disabilities. The thoughtfully designed space is being created to make it easy to access, and that's actually a picture of our kitchen there with some technology in situ. The range of the technology in the home is quite extensive. However, we're conscious that it's not too futuristic. We want to keep it relative to everyday living in the modern world. And that includes things like, your consumer products, the things you can buy off the shelf, your Amazon Alexas, your Ring doorbells, your Wi-Fi sockets. But we also incorporate that with devices from our community partners at ATEC24, which is our community alarm service. So we like to look at how we can meet the needs of the individual holistically. I mean, it's not one bit of kit suits all, there could be a combination of tech to meet needs. So we have our door exit sensors, bed occupancy monitors, community alarms, and then we have a range of assistive technologies. So for those with more complex disabilities, it might be that they need a switch or a button to access a device at home. So they're using that switch to be able to select something on their iPad, tapping it to select that and being able to navigate their device easily. Or it might be more even further complex than that. They might just be able to move their eyes to use their computer, so we can look at that. And that's where our occupational therapy assessment is really key for narrowing down that individual's ability to use that type of tech. We kind of look at using our home is there for anybody. It's not just for that criteria of the neurological, physical disability. We're open to anybody, any condition. As the only criteria is it's a resident of Edinburgh. We like to support individuals to come along and have a look at what we can do there. We have that conversation, which is really important to the person, to be able to narrow down what's going on for them. And then we'll look at technology solutions to meet their need. But also we're there for our staff across the partnership, the third sector, to be able to come along and have awareness sessions. So I regularly meet with our staff to come along and say, let's have a tour around our home, and we'll talk about areas where we can support individual needs through the use of technology and making that inclusive living something that can happen. The areas that we can support with kind of range. We have these, what we call foundation stones of areas we look at to support individuals. So we'll start at the first one, keeping you safe at home and when you're out and about. So, that could be someone who's at risk of falling. They might require a fall detector that would notify someone or the community alarm service that they are at risk of falling. Or it could be that they lack the awareness that their smoke alarm's going off and they need somebody to attend to that on their behalf and make sure they're safe. And those kind of systems are okay for, the elderly population might be more acceptable to those, but a younger person with more complex disabilities might say, I don't want something like a falls detector on my wrist, I want to use more consumer technology. So we can help look at that area. Making sure individuals are connected, so reducing that social isolation, so being able to make sure they are connected, they can access their devices, they can get on social media like you and I can, they can be able to share information, share news, be kept up to date with things, keeping in touch with family, being able to make phone calls. So if somebody loses the ability to use the phone due to dementia, for instance, then there are other systems we can use to support effective communication. Being able to keep you participating in activities in and out the home. So again, looking at different access methods if you're not able to do that. So there are different solutions that we can look at to make that easier, to be able to ensure that you're able to have full participation in every area of your life. Keeping you as well as you can be, so supporting self-management of your condition, and this could be through health monitoring apps, for diabetes, for blood pressure monitoring. It could be apps for mindfulness to support your mental well-being, peer support through online groups. I mean, the list is huge, and as I said before, it's all relevant to the specific needs of the individual. And keeping you informed about what's important to you. So again, having access to information, making sure you can be included in that information, and about helping you to be independent with having systems in place to support for your loss of function. So the next slide looks at all the areas, and we can clear to see that when we're supporting somebody, there's many areas that needs attending to, things that are important to the individual. And it's clear to see that as individuals, we have that huge range of things that are important. It's also helpful to understand that one size doesn't fit all. At the heart of any successful technology intervention lies listening. We take time to understand the unique challenges and goals of each individual. A person with limited mobility might require voice control for their environment, while someone with loss of vision might benefit more from screen reader technology. It's not just about the tech, it's about the person at the heart of it. We go on to look beyond the disability to see the whole picture. What are their daily routines? What are their aspirations? By considering these aspects, we can craft a personalised technology solution that empowers them to achieve their desired outcomes. Imagine your technology as a personal assistant, not just a generic tool. It anticipates needs, removes barriers, and seamlessly integrates into their lives. The person-centred approach is key to unlocking the true potential of technology for individuals living with disabilities. And for me, I use my smartphone every day, and I know that probably most of you in the room has a smartphone that you use for every day, and you probably use it for the same things. Keeping in touch with friends and family, looking up things on the internet. You might have apps that can help you monitor your sleep, or it could be that you're using it for recording your steps. So there's daily functions we use every day, and probably it's in our hand more times than anything else throughout the course of the day. We all rely on our smartphones heavily, and that shouldn't be any different for anybody living with a disability. Some of the assistive living technologies that we've got on the market today, we've got some of the basic things like your orientation clocks with visual prompts and reminders, and they can be quite helpful. They can be quite helpful for carers and family members to be able to input those prompts to support somebody living at home, and that could be individuals living with dementia. We've got things like motion-activated message delivery sensors, so this can be used for... So in Edinburgh, if we have somebody who is at risk of going missing, we will support them to look at solutions to help them stay at home. We might, as practitioners, think a door exit sensor is going to meet that person's needs, which will connect to a response service to give them that backup that if they do leave, they can call family members to attend. But unfortunately, not everybody's got family members that can attend to a door exit sensor, so we have to look at other solutions to ensure somebody can remain at home for a longer period of time. So this little machine here could be set up to play a message if that person goes to leave the house. We could say, Annie, please don't leave the house, your carers are about to come in. So it's a very low-tech bit of kit that could support that need. We've already spoken about the use of our smartphone, fantastic tool. Technology has come a long way since I first started in this field 9 years ago. It sometimes felt like climbing a mountain to get a solution for somebody living with a disability to get access to their devices. Now today, everything's fast forward at a massive rate, and it's amazing what we can achieve. So our smartphones, for instance, one of the devices we all use most, it's got, for those who have a physical disability, you can control it through voice. So you've got the ability to navigate your phone through just the use of your voice. For those with a vision loss, you can use talkback software, voice-over software, and a series of gestures to be able to control your smartphone, so you've still got access to everything. For those with a hearing loss, some of them have got noise detection software, so you can set it up to alert you if your smoke alarm's going off, or your doorbell's activated, or your baby monitor's kicking off. So it's got the ability to be quite clever. And not to mention all the other accessibility options that's in there, increasing the text, increasing the ability to change the display to make it darker or lighter. The list is endless, being able to connect an alternative access method, such as a switch if you can't use it with direct touch or any of the other methods that I've just explained. Your smart speakers, so fantastic product on the market. So this device can do a whole range of things. So you can set up things like automations, routines to support an individual. So if I was to be coming home at night and I could set things up to say, good night, Alexa, and it could turn off my lights, it could lock my door, it could give me what's on my calendar for tomorrow, so I'm a bit more ready for what's happened, or vice versa. I could say good morning and it can tell me what's on my calendar for today. I can use my voice to input calendar prompts. I can set up my calendar so I can easily put things in. I can use prompts and reminders for things like to remember to eat, to remember to drink, to take my medication, to put the bin out. The list is endless. We've also got a bank of apps. So there's apps for everything these days, and it's quite tricky kind of navigating down which one's going to be best for you. Orca is a site for apps for self-management. There's also the NHS My Therapy site, which narrows down apps for categories and help you easily identify them. More simplified TV control, so mostly for our elderly population. These devices here make it just a bit more easier to control the TV. Because I don't know about you guys, I never use all the buttons that's on my remote control. It's usually just a selection of some of them. And then things like occupancy monitoring. And this list is quite small. There's masses of technology on the market, and for other kind of more complex technology to support individuals living at home. So what we provide. So we've already spoken about the good conversation. And that's important for everything, for every element of our work with individuals. It's about having that conversation and what matters to them. We will work with any existing technology that's in situ, or we can loan specific devices for trial. So it's important that we know that device is going to meet that person's needs. So in terms of working with existing tech, the skills are already there, they know how to navigate the device, so if we can tweak that to meet their needs and support their outcomes, then we will try and use that. But if not, we can loan those devices. We don't have masses of stuff, but we generally get by with what we have. We provide the full setup and the install of the equipment where we can. So sometimes people lack connectivity, and it's important to kind of try to see if having connected devices to the Wi-Fi is going to support their needs and outcomes. So we can loan connectivity for a small period of time, again, to see if that's going to work. We support the individual and the family to learn their new skills, so it's really important that we provide that. So we don't just give the device, we work with the individual to build the skills needed to use that device. We also work alongside anybody else that's working with them or family to make sure that they know what the device does, how to problem solve if something goes wrong. And we're always at the end of a phone, or usually we're seeing the person regularly until they've built up the skills. If it needs a longer intervention of building up in skills, then we work with other agencies that provide that skill building service across Edinburgh. Very important to evaluate the technology. So looking at how that's working for the person. Is it working? Is it not working? Do we need to change that? Is it meeting their needs? Is it helping them to be able to manage everything that they need to manage? Or is it not working at all? So It's very fair to say, with anybody requiring a package of support, technology is there as an add-on, not as well as. You know, it can complement a package of care, it can maybe reduce a package of care slightly, but it can't overtake what a person, a member of staff can provide. We also look at identifying areas of funding, which is a massive area, you know, especially in our financial climate. People are struggling with everyday bills. To buy an area of technology that's going to support them can become tricky. So we look at funding areas, and that could be, you know, we do have a small technology budget, but it has to fit within that physical disability criteria in terms of supporting individuals to access their technology. So it is within a tight criteria, and I think Dr. Preveda mentioned about services being squeezed at the moment. You know, it's very true in terms of provision as well. And then we work with other agencies involved, so that's always key to everything. If there's anybody else involved, we always make sure that we work well with them so that we can make sure that the person's needs are getting worked fully. And then just a wee case study to kind of show an area of practice that we worked in terms of how we supported somebody. So we worked with a young girl who I'll call Sarah to maintain her confidentiality, who sustained a head injury from a fall. While recovered physically, she experienced difficulties with memory, planning and organisation, like Dr. Fitzgerald and Dr. Preveda spoke about executive functioning before I came on. Everyday tasks like remembering appointments, medication schedules and meal preparation were becoming overwhelming, and it significantly impacted her independence and quality of life. Occupational therapy focused on cognitive rehabilitation and strategies to promote independent living. The therapist recommended incorporating technology tools to support Sarah's specific needs. The interventions we put in place were smart speakers, so smart speakers strategically placed in Sarah's home, in the kitchen and the bedroom, and these were set up with daily reminders and routines through the smart speaker. So in the morning, the speaker would play a gentle alarm followed by a weather report and a reminder to take medication. In the evening, it would remind her to start preparing dinner, and then we could have task prompts throughout the day for things. Sarah could use the commands to receive prompts for each specific task, and things like she could ask what's on my schedule today or what's on my diary for today, and it would give her the list of upcoming appointments, what day do I put my bin out, etc. So we helped her look at all those areas. And the outcomes that we achieved by using the technology were improved memory and task initiation, so the repetitive prompts provided by smart speakers and visual cues help Sarah remember appointments, her medications, schedules, and initiate tasks independently. We reduced anxiety by having a clear plan for the day and readily available reminders, lessened the anxiety and feelings of overwhelm. The increased independence, so Sarah regained confidence in her ability to manage daily tasks, leading to a greater sense of autonomy. And I guess the conclusion was that, you know, the case study kind of demonstrates the effectiveness of technology-aided interventions in supporting individuals with cognitive impairment to regain independence in daily living. The combination of the smart speakers, the visual prompts, and the therapist's guided strategies empowered Sarah to manage her daily routine, improving her well-being and quality of life. And I guess that's me. Apologies if I spoke really fast. I kind of sometimes have a tendency to do that. But if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer any. And we are happy to receive any visitors at our smart home that would like to come along and have a look or have any kind of direct contact with us to look at areas where we can support you.
Do we have any questions for Annie? And Natasha, you won't see it, but there's one right over here. Just far wall.
who don't have... Yeah. So we do have, in the Lothians, we do have an AAC, so an alternative augmentative communication service that will support individuals who struggle with communication difficulties. And we can also work alongside AAC Lothian. And also to mention, we do have an environmental control service up at the Astley Ainsley as well. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. So together we kind of work in partnership with those other services to provide the right support the person needs. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Any more questions?
We don't have a stall outside, no. But we can share our information with you. Yeah. Or you can take a screenshot of what's up there.
Well, you mentioned the Astley Ainsley.
No, it's at Longstone. So we're based at 62 Longstone Street, and it is an appointment-based service only. So we sit within the Edinburgh Health and Social Care Partnership. So we are funded by the partnership, and we're a council-run service. Perfect. Thanks very much.
Oh, wait, I think
Thank
there's
you.
one more. It's okay.